let us welcome Honorable Dino Jose Maria O. Acuna.
So good noon everyone and welcome to the great city of Victorias here in the province of Negros Occidental. We are very honored to have you today, and I hope that this visit is going to be meaningful to all of you, and I will try my best to share with you what we know about our history in the city of Victorias. I would like to welcome, of course, and I am very honored to meet today the DILG, CLGOO of the City of Bacolod, Sir Christian. And also, of course, we have with us our head of the GSOD, si Manger of Flor. And of course, one of the pillars in terms of the infrastructure development in the city of Victorias, Doc Banji Idol. Good morning. So, again, welcome, and I would like to extend my gratitude to the GSOD for giving me this privilege to share the story of Victorias City. I would like to tell you that in Victorias, only this year, we launched this book about the history of Victorias, 1845 up to 1945, written by renowned Negros historian, Mr. Modesto Pisa Onoy. And what's good about Victorias in terms of history is that we have a 1901 Secretary Municipal who later became mayor in 1928 who left a written manuscript about the history of Victorias, si Esteban Halandomi. And also in 1953, in response to the executive order issued by President Quirino, the Bureau of Public Schools in the District of Victorias submitted to the National Library a compilation of our historical data in Victorias. So all those compiled together and supported with facts, we came out with our history book in the city of Victorias, which was launched only on May 23, 2024. And I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. I don't really call myself as a historian, but only a lover and protector of the history of Victorias. So please allow me to share with you a little bit of what we know about our story. No? Number one, why history? When to many it's kind of boring because of the, the struggle to memorize dates and places and names. No? So, not many really find it really interesting. But I think it's really very important. In the Filipino context, kasaysayan, contracted into saysay, as its root word, pero meaning of saysay is significant. Meaning is something that is senseful, no? May meaning, may bukan. So, I think it's important that we will be able to know, to learn our history, so that by knowing it, we will be able to know how great our country is and how great our forefathers are. No? So I think I truly believe in my heart that you will only be able to truly love your country if you know yourselves, we know ourselves, and we know the story of our country. And in particular, in the city of Victorias, our city. So that is why, just to give a little background before we proceed, we all know that Philippine history traces back to the people of the Pacific. No? These are the people whose country belongs in a number of islands in the Pacific. They are the Polynesians, the Micronesians, and the Melanesians. They are the people of what we now know as Hawaii, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Solomon Islands, And these people are known to be voyagers and explorers. And they did not use or apply modern technologies like compass and any other devices, but they just made their voyage to sa aglaw, sa bulan, sa waves ng mga ocean, and then they were able to travel long distances. And then most of them, or some of them, found the Philippines. No? So, hindi sila, these are, when the Spaniards came to the Philippines, their descendants, continued to roam the country. And about in Negros, in particular, the Aborigines are what we call the Negritos. Of course, we all know they're short people and they're kinky hair, and they wore G-strings, and then they were the original Aborigines of Negros. And they did not have, they didn't believe in deity, they don't have God, they don't have a sense of government, they don't know how to plan, they were nomads. So they go from one place to the other and enjoy the benefits and fruits from the environment and what nature can provide them. So doon muna sila. Until later, another stronger tribe came to the Philippines. These are the Indonesians, okay? And the Malay race. Okay? Malay race are mostly people coming from Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Brunei, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. Pero Indian set of people have a stronger sense and an improved sense of governance. Okay? And they know how to till land, they know agriculture, and they have certain beliefs and practices that until now are still very prevalent in the present generation. Okay, for example, they believe in a supreme being called Valhalla, but they don't have the concept of what heaven and earth are yet, because it was only during the colonization or the spread of Christianity of the Spaniards that heaven and earth were thought of. Okay? And then these people believe that a person has a spirit called Kaya. Okay? Kaya roams in, there is a sacred place where these people are buried, and it's called Pulang. That's in the forests and in caves, no? And then once you are old, this sacred place called Pulang should be respected. So, hindi dito tutulong ako ng iba. Okay lang na mag-lunch ka mo. Okay. Going back a little bit to the Indonesians and the Malay race, because according to history, there was a power struggle between Srivijaya Empire of Indonesia and the Majapahit Empire. And that's the reason why these Indonesians and Malay race came to escape from the struggle and conflict in their old place. That's why people started to go to other places such as the Philippines. You know that what we now know as Visayas actually came from the word Srivijaya, from the Indonesian Srivijaya Empire. So that's what Visayas that we all know today came from, because of the influence of the people from the Srivijaya Empire who came to the Philippines, and when they settled here, they called these islands in the central part of the country as Visayas, from the term Srivijaya. Okay? So, continuing, the set of beliefs of those Malays and Indonesians that are still very prevalent up to today are things such as Bathala, which is a supreme being, such as things like spirit, that everyone has a spirit, but when they die, they don't go to heaven or hell because they did not have a concept of heaven and hell, but the spirit continues to roam around in the ulang, which is forest or the caves. And in the collective term, they call this ulang as Kagulangan. That is why we know forest as a kagulangan in our dialect. Okay? And also, they said that when you are called lolo. If you are a woman, you are called lola. But you have to be respected because you are nearing the realm of the afterlife. Okay? And also, the great-grandparents, they call neuter ulang, meaning to say, regardless of their sex, they are called tigulang. Meaning to say, now what we know as tigulang. And also, when you are an elderly person with wisdom, you are respected, and in common times they are called the dato or the chieftain. They are called my because contracted from the term ma-a-yang. Okay? So that's disturb that forest or cave because that's where the spirits of your ancestors roam. And when you disturb it, you have to say tabi-tabi because that case is considered ma-riit. Okay? But during the, sa pag-clear nila sa Negros Island, to pave way to settlements, new settlements, ang hambal nila, those who got sick or died, they died or they got sick because wala sila nag-respect sa kagulangan. That's why they were ginuyawan sila. Okay? But inakuyaw can only be cured by an intercession of a median called manok luyaan sa aton sugo. Sa unang manok luyaw ang tawag nila. And also the very common Filipino notion of bahala na is a contraction of the belief that says bahala na or bahala na si Lord. So that's why now it's called as bahala na. Okay? So that's it for the Malayan race and the Indonesian. And there were evidence that shows that when the expedition of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi arrived in particular, of course, he settled in Cebu, but his expedition, other ships also have reached Tugkagawan. Tugkagawan is an old name for Victoria City. Okay, but our mother town is the what we now know as Ibi Magalona. That is like about 10 or 15 minutes away from where we are at right now. So that continues to exist as a town, originally named Sarabia after Alja Mayor Emilio Sarabia in 1848 when he re-established it after more than 100 years of desolation due to Moro pirate attacks. Ginigil nila ang Sarabia, ang Tugkagawan, and he named it after him. So it was called Sarabia until in 1967 when the Philippine Senate changed the name of Sarabia into what we now know as Ibi Magalona in honor of Senator Enrique B. Magalona, who was a native of Sarabia. Okay? So in short, ang Sarabia or Tugkagawan was a very prosperous town in the 16th and 17th century. Okay? And in Victorias, what we now know as Victorias, including Manapta and Cadiz, were just part of Tugkagawan. Okay? Moving fast forward, in the 1720s, the Jesuit missionaries arrived in Negros. Some of them were from Lithuania, who were commissioned to, of course, spread Christianity in the country, and they reached island of Negros. And their mission was to evangelize the natives in the northern part. Okay? You know, when I mentioned earlier that the first recorded document about the expedition of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi reaching Tucagwan, it appeared in the book called Colección de Documentos Inéditos de las Islas de Filipinas, Tomo 1565, which is a narrative of the events that took place when Miguel Lopez de Legazpi arrived in Cebu, and in particular have reached Victorias or Tucagwan. So it appeared. They said that the natives of Tucagwan were of Malayan race. You need to say the reason why we are not thinking here for short, or we were not nomads, it's because of the influence of the Indonesian and the Malayan race that have reached Tucagwan in the early days. Okay, so Inaxia was reported. However, they found the natives of Tucagwan very friendly and not hostile. So they stayed and they continued to roam around until they reached Tanhay, where they met a combat with the Negritos. So when they made the report that is written in that book, they called this Islas de Negritos, Islas de Negros. And from then on, this province is termed as Negros na. So anyway, going back naman tayo sa Tucagwan din. In the 1720s, 1720 in particular, 1750, 1755, 58, 63, up to 85, ang more of pirate attacks is very common, was very common, not just, and it is not unique only to Tucagwan, but to almost all seashores in the northern and southern part of Negros Occidental. There was this Dato from Zamboanga called Dato Bantigan, whose personal crusade was always against Christians. And so, on his way to Luzon to conduct raids, Inicia is always his passage. Sometimes they would come in Guimaras and continue attacking all towns in the northern part. But the most fatal one was in 1785 because not only that they divested the people of their properties and possessions and money, they also took captives. They get, all able men, women, and children, and bring them to Borneo to be sold as slaves in the slave market. So, can you imagine kung ano pasubok na one day, natakabuhan forever, you will not be able to see again your husband, your brother, your father, your mother, your sister. So, because of this, in 1785, people from Tucagwan left their place and left that place to destination, moved to hinterlands, to upper lands. The same case happened to Bacolod City, where people moved to what we now know as Barangay Granada and Kamingawan, and later on came back to the original settlement of Magsugay, and sa others in Balaco, and Sumang, and now Bacolod, which was just evacuation center ang Bacolod. In the case of Victorias and Tucagwan, after 15 years, from 1785, during the last major Moro attack, people came back, started to come back because pauhay na. Others opted to go back to the original site, which is now known as Ibimagalona, while others decided to look for some other places that they feel safer for them to settle. And that's how they found Malihao. Malihao is the old name of Victoria's city. No? In Malihao is not actually facing the shorelines. You have to travel for maybe a kilometer or so in the inner part, and that's where they settled in what is now known as Daan Banwa, Victoria's city. It was not until 1876 when on September 20, 2022, This representation was able, after 146 years, discover in the records of the National Archives of the Philippines the actual royal decree issued by the Governor General of Manila representing Spanish regime and approved by the King of Spain about the creation of the town that we now know as Victorias, formerly called as Nuestra Señora de las Victorias. So that small settlement continued to exist until in 1906 when the municipality was able to acquire a donation from a Chinese businessman called Don Alejandro Acuña y Aquina, a property of more or less 26 or 30 hectares, and a year after, on October 31, 1907, they moved to the new town site, what we now know as the city proper of Victorias, where the City Hall building, where the BCC, where the Public Plaza, where the Victorias Elementary School are located today. So I think that is the shortest version of the story of Victorias that I can share with you today. That's how we became Victorias. And of course, in 1998, we became a component city here in the province of Negros Occidental. And today, we are very happy that you came and get to see our city. It's unfortunate that Mayor Abby is not around to join you and meet you, but I heard that you have met our Vice Mayor, Julie Banto, and I hope that we have a good time here in Victorias. And thank you so much for this opportunity to share our story. So again,
thank you so much, Honorable Dean Jose Maria Acuña, for very informative and very detailed explanation sa kagawin sa ating katayang sa sarili ng lahat sa pinaka-excited and very interesting presentation about the history of Victorias. So once again, sir, thank you so much. Also, if you want to learn more about the history of Victorias, we would like to promote the club. I-promote naman ang page ni SP Dino Acuña. So if you have your Facebook, you can search SPM Dino Acuña. So you can